Chapter 1. The Ultimate U.S. Adventure Top 20 Must-See Spots. Hey there, travel bugs and road trip warriors. Ready for a coast-to-coast adventure? We're about to dive into the top 20 must-visit places in this fine nation we call home. The good old US of A. We're talking iconic landmarks, breathtaking scenery, and enough deep-fried food to clog your arteries just by looking at them. From the bright lights of Times Square to the Grand Canyon's jaw-dropping grandeur, we're covering it all. We'll even throw in some insider tips, like where to find the best slice of pizza in Chicago, or how to avoid getting hustled in Vegas. Don't worry, we've got your back. So pack your bags, grab your fanny packs, hey, they're practical, and get ready for the ultimate American road trip. We're talking national parks, bustling cities, quirky roadside attractions, the whole shebang. Whether you're a history buff, a foodie, or just looking for some Instagram-worthy scenery, this list has something for everyone, even your weird Uncle Marty who collects rubber bands. So, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to embark on an epic journey across this great land. This is gonna be bigger than a Kardashian wedding, folks, so get ready. Chapter 2. New York, New York, the city that never sleeps, apparently. First up, the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. New York City, where dreams are made of, or at least where they film those cheesy movies about dreams being made of. You'll be dodging more tourists than pigeons in Times Square, but hey, at least it's an experience, right? Escape the concrete jungle with a stroll through Central Park. The Met, MoMA, the Museum of Natural History. You could spend a week in museums alone. Just remember, folks, New York is not for the faint of heart. And hey, even if you don't make it big, at least you can grab a decent bagel, right? Chapter 3. Grand Canyon National Park, Arizona. Where words fail, but selfies don't, all right, folks. From the concrete jungle to the, a really big hole in the ground. Next up, we're heading to the Grand Canyon National Park in sunny Arizona. Get ready to be humbled by Mother Nature because this place is just ridiculous. I mean, seriously, pictures don't even do it justice. You could drop 1,000 Kardashians in this thing and you still wouldn't be able to see them all. Okay, maybe that's a bit much, but you get the idea. It's big, it's beautiful, and it's definitely worth the trip. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, you can hike down to the bottom. Just make sure you pack plenty of water and snacks because it's a long way back up. Or, you could just take the easy way out and admire it from the rim. No judgment here, folks. And don't forget to catch a sunset over the canyon. It's like a Bob Ross painting come to life, only without the happy little trees, just pure, unadulterated beauty. You might even shed a tear, but don't worry, we won't tell anyone. Alright, folks, buckle up because we're headed to Yellowstone National Park. This ain't your mama's national park either. We're talking geysers shooting water higher than a giraffe on stilts, hot springs that could boil an egg faster than you can say Old Faithful, and enough bison to make a Texas rancher jealous. Speaking of Old Faithful, this ain't some washed-up Vegas magician, folks. This geyser's been erupting like clockwork for centuries, so you know it's the real deal. Every 90 minutes or so it puts on a show that'll make you forget all about those overpriced cocktails you had in Vegas. And hey, while you're waiting for Old Faithful to blow its top, take a gander around. You might spot some elk, maybe a moose, or if you're really lucky, a grizzly bear. Just maybe admire those from a safe distance, alright? We don't want you ending up as a bear's mid-afternoon snack. Yellowstone's the kind of place that'll make you believe in nature's power again, It's raw, it's untamed, and it's definitely got a better track record than Congress. So, pack your hiking boots, grab your camera, and get ready for an adventure you won't soon forget. Next up, we're heading west to the Golden Gate City, San Francisco. The fog just adds to the city's charm, like a mysterious veil over a glamorous celebrity. San Francisco's got it all: iconic landmarks, delicious food, and enough hills to make your calves scream for mercy. First things first, you gotta see the Golden Gate Bridge, and take a ferry over to Alcatraz Island, the former home to some of America's most notorious criminals. No trip to San Francisco is complete without exploring the vibrant neighborhoods. Alright folks, it's time to get serious for a minute because we're headed to Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Now I know what you're thinking, Jimmy, politics give me indigestion. But trust me, D.C., quote, S got more to offer than just politicians arguing on C-SPAN. First of all, the monuments are seriously impressive. We're talking the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial. It's like a marble-carved tribute to all the presidents who had better hair than me. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even bump into Joe Biden wandering around looking for ice cream. But the real hidden gems of DC are the Smithsonian museums. And the best part? They're absolutely free. You got the Air and Space Museum where you can pretend you're Neil Armstrong walking on the moon, the Natural History Museum where you can gawk at dinosaur bones, and the National Museum of American History where you can see Dorothy's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz. So, put on your walking shoes, grab a cup of coffee, because let's be honest, you'll need it after dealing with DC traffic, and get ready to experience the city that's got something for everyone, unless you're looking for a good time. This is DC, folks. We take our fun very seriously. Alright folks, buckle up because we're heading to Yosemite National Park, California. This place is so beautiful it makes even the most jaded Instagram influencer say, "Whoa dude, for real." We're talking granite cliffs that'll make your jaw drop faster than you can say El Capitan, which, by the way, is one of those cliffs. And speaking of dropping, Yosemite Falls is a must-see. This waterfall is so high it makes Niagara Falls look like a leaky faucet. They say the best view is from the bottom, but I bet it's pretty impressive from the top too, if you can find a brave squirrel to lend you a GoPro. Now if you're feeling adventurous, lace up your hiking boots and hit the trails. Just try not to get eaten by a bear. I hear they're very picky eaters in Yosemite. They only want the tourists who forgot to pack snacks. But seriously, Yosemite is a hiker's paradise with trails for every fitness level. So, whether you're a seasoned mountaineer or you just like to stroll through the woods after a donut, Yosemite has got you covered. Just remember to bring your bear spray and maybe a donut or two for our furry friends. Hold on to your beads, folks. We're diving into the Big Easy New Orleans, Louisiana. This city knows how to party, and not just during Mardi Gras. First stop, the French Quarter. Cobblestone streets, wrought iron balconies, and endless jazz. Grab a hurricane cocktail, but pace yourself. Don't miss the gumbo, jambalaya, and po' boys. And beignets so good, they'll make you want to slap your mama. When the sun goes down, the city heats up. What happens in New Orleans ends up on YouTube. Enjoy your vacation. Alright folks, get ready to roll the dice and push your luck because we're headed to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. This town is like Disneyland for adults, only instead of Mickey Mouse ears, everyone's wearing sunglasses and a slightly panicked expression. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, I'm not a gambler. Well, neither am I, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the spectacle that is Las Vegas. We're talking giant pyramids, erupting volcanoes, dancing fountains, and enough neon lights to illuminate the entire state of Rhode Island. Of course, no trip to Vegas is complete without catching a show. And I'm not talking about some guy in a sequined jumpsuit lip-syncing to a Barry Manilow song. We're talking Cirque du Soleil, magic shows, and residencies by some of the biggest names in music. But listen, if you do decide to try your luck at the tables, just remember to set a budget and stick to it. Because the house always wins, baby. And by the house, I mean the giant, opulent casino that's probably owned by a guy named Steve who wears sweatpants to work. Just saying. Aloha folks, we're heading to the Aloha State, but don't worry, I packed my fireproof fan. We're talking about Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, where the earth is literally alive. Forget Disneyland, this place has actual molten lava. Now I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, I've seen a lava lamp, I get it, but trust me, this is different. We're talking rivers of fire, glowing craters, and enough volcanic activity to make Pompeii look like a backyard barbecue. And the best part, you can actually get pretty close to the action. Well, not too close, unless you want to end up like my Uncle Sal, who tried to roast marshmallows over an active volcano. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well. But hey, even if you're not a thrill seeker, there's plenty to see. Lush rainforests, volcanic craters, and even ancient lava tubes. It's like a geology textbook exploded and created the most beautiful mess you've ever seen. Alright, from the fiery depths of Hawaii, we're heading to the windy city Chicago. And no, I'm not talking about the kind of wind that blows your toupee into Lake Michigan. Chicago is known for its iconic skyline, deep dish pizza, and of course its love for a good time. First stop, the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower, but whatever you call it, it's tall, like really tall. You can see 4 states from the top on a clear day, which is probably why they call it the Windy City, because you're practically in another state by the time you get down. And after you've had your fill of breathtaking views, it's time to indulge in some deep dish pizza. Look, I know some of you are New York-style pizza purists, but trust me, Chicago deep dish is an experience. It's like a pizza pie had a baby with a casserole, and then they deep fried it. But Chicago isn't all skyscrapers and pizza. You've got world-class museums like the Art Institute, Navy Pier for family fun, and of course, the blues. Chicago is where the blues came to life, so catch a show and let the music move you. From the Windy City to the Magic City, we're heading south to Miami. Get ready for sunshine, beaches, and enough pastel-colored buildings to make your eyes pop. Miami is all about that vibrant, tropical energy, and trust me, it's contagious. First things first, hit the beach. South Beach, to be exact. It's like a runway for people watching, with everyone from bikini-clad models to senior citizens in Speedos. Don't judge, they earned the right to let it all hang out. But Miami is more than just beaches. Take a stroll down Ocean Drive and soak in the Art Deco architecture. Those colorful buildings with geometric designs, they're a Miami icon. And speaking of icons, you can't miss Little Havana. It's like taking a trip to Cuba without leaving the country. And of course, no trip to Miami is complete without experiencing the nightlife. From salsa clubs to rooftop bars, Miami knows how to party. Just remember to pace yourself, you've got a lot more exploring to do. Alright, we're heading south now to a place where the air is thick, and I don't mean with hairspray. We're talking about the Great Smoky Mountains, folks. It's the most visited national park in the whole darn country, and for good reason. First off, the name. They don't call it Smoky for nothing. These mountains are covered in a natural fog that makes the whole place look like a scene out of Gone with the Wind, except instead of Scarlett O'Hara, you might run into a black bear. Don't worry, they're more scared of you than you are of them. Probably. But seriously, the hiking here is unbelievable. Hundreds of miles of trails, from easy strolls to leg-burning climbs. You can wander through old-growth forests, past cascading waterfalls, and up to breathtaking vistas that'll make you want to yodel. Just try not to fall off the mountain, okay? And if you're lucky, you might even spot some wildlife along the way. We're talking black bears, elk, deer, maybe even a Sasquatch if you're really lucky. Or unlucky, depending on how you feel about mythical creatures. Just remember, look with your eyes, not your hands. Unless you're holding a camera, in which case, snap away. Okay, let's trade in our hiking boots for some sensible walking shoes because we're heading to Boston, baby. This city is like a history book come to life, but without all the boring parts. And no, Paul Revere is not still riding around on his horse. We're talking cobblestone streets, gas lamps, buildings older than your grandpa, the whole 9 yards. You can practically smell the revolution in the air. Speaking of which, you gotta check out the Freedom Trail. It's this red brick line that winds its way past all the big historical landmarks. Faneuil Hall, Paul Revere's house, the Old North Church. It's like a greatest hits tour of American history. And hey, while you're in the neighborhood, why not pop into Harvard Yard? It's just down the street and you can tell everyone you went to Harvard, even though you just took a selfie in front of the library. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. But Boston's not all about the past, folks. This city's got a modern side too, with trendy restaurants, cool shops, and more craft breweries than you can shake a lobster roll at. And speaking of lobster rolls, do yourself a favor and order 1, or 3. You're on vacation. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to Zion National Park, where the rocks are red hot. Forget Hollywood, these canyons have more drama than an episode of The Real Housewives. We're talking towering sandstone cliffs, some of them thousands of feet high. And the best part? You get to hike, climb, and explore through it all. Speaking of canyons, you gotta check out the Narrows. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can hike Angel's Landing. Trust me, the views from the top are worth every bead of sweat. Alright, we're heading to the Pacific Northwest, home of flannel shirts, overpriced coffee, and more rain than a British summer. That's right, it's Seattle. This city is like the love child of a hipster and a lumberjack, and honestly, I kinda dig it. First up, you gotta ride the Space Needle. It's like the Eiffel Tower, but instead of croissants and romance, you get overpriced souvenirs and a killer view of Puget Sound. Speaking of killer views, check out Pike Place Market. It's a sensory overload of fresh fish, colorful flowers, and buskers who may or may not be former grunge rockers. Now, Seattle is known for its coffee, and no, I'm not talking about Starbucks, although they were born here. But for the true Seattle coffee experience, hit up a local roaster. Just be prepared to wait in line behind a bunch of people who take their caffeine very, very seriously. And when in Seattle, you gotta embrace the great outdoors. Hike through Discovery Park, kayak on Lake Union, or just find a cozy coffee shop with a view and watch the rain fall. Hey, even hipsters and lumberjacks need a break from the drizzle, right? Hold on to your Mickey Mouse ears, folks, because we're going to Orlando, Florida, the land of theme parks, sunshine, and enough sugar to give a dentist a panic attack. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Orlando is basically one giant tourist trap, but it's a really, really fun one. First up, we gotta talk about the big cheese, the mouse himself, Walt Disney World. This place is massive, with 4 different parks, water parks, and enough attractions to keep you entertained for a week. But be warned, it's also more crowded than a Kardashian family reunion, and don't even get me started on the lines. You'll spend more time waiting in line than actually on the rides. But hey, at least you can get your picture taken with a giant rodent while you wait, right? And if you're looking for something a little more adult, Universal Studios is the place to be. They've got all the thrill rides, shows, and attractions you could ask for, plus Harry Potter World. Finally, a chance to use that Hogwarts acceptance letter you've been clinging to since 2001. And if you're feeling really adventurous, head to one of Orlando's many water parks. Just try not to get trampled by a family of 5 racing to the lazy river. We're heading to Glacier National Park, Montana. This place is like a postcard come to life. It's so beautiful it'll make you want to write poetry. The star of the show is the Going to the Sun Road. This 50-mile scenic highway offers breathtaking views. You'll see glaciers, waterfalls, and maybe even a grizzly bear. Glacier National Park, where the views are epic and the wildlife is even wilder. Hey y'all, welcome back to the tour. Today we're heading down south, and no, I don't mean Florida, we're talking about Savannah, Georgia. This place is like stepping into a time machine. You're more likely to trip over a cobblestone and spill your sweet tea. Savannah is known for its beautiful squares, each with their own unique charm. You've got Spanish moss dripping from the trees, and the antebellum architecture, forget about it. They've got ghost stories, folks, and enough paranormal activity to make you sleep with the lights on. And after a long day, you gotta refuel. Savannah's got you covered. We're talking shrimp and grits that'll make you want to slap your mama. Alright, we're heading up north, way up north to Alaska for number 19 on our list. And no, it's not Sarah Palin's house, though you might be able to see Russia from there. I'm talking about Denali National Park, home to the majestic Denali, formerly known as Mount McKinley, which is basically the Beyonce of mountains. Denali is 6 million acres of pure, unadulterated wilderness. That's bigger than the entire state of Massachusetts, which I guess explains why they call it the last frontier. You've got glaciers, forests, rivers, and more stars than a Hollywood Walk of Fame afterparty. Now, you're not going to find any 5-star hotels here, folks. This is rugged, back-to-nature stuff. Think camping, hiking, maybe wrestling a bear for your breakfast. Just kidding. Mostly. But you will see some incredible wildlife, grizzly bears, caribou, wolves, and maybe even a moose taking a midnight stroll. So, pack your bug spray, your long underwear, and your sense of adventure, because Denali is not for the faint of heart. It's a place where you can truly disconnect from the world and reconnect with nature, or at least try to before your phone battery dies from the cold. From the wilds of Alaska, we're heading down south to the land of hot chicken and even hotter music, Nashville, Tennessee. That's right, folks, we're talking about the heart and soul of country music, where every night feels like a Saturday night. Nashville is a city that knows how to have a good time. It's got more bars per capita than I have jokes about Matt Damon. You can catch a show at the legendary Grand Ole Opry, where country music legends are made, or wander down Broadway, which is basically a honky-tonk highway. And if you're feeling brave, you gotta try the Nashville hot chicken. Now, this ain't your mama's fried chicken, folks. This stuff is coated in a fiery blend of spices that'll make your ears sweat. It's the kind of food that makes you want to dance or maybe call a fire department. But Nashville is more than just music and spicy food. It's got a vibrant art scene, beautiful parks, and enough southern charm to melt a Yankee's heart. So put on your cowboy boots, grab a cold one, and get ready to experience the magic of Music City. Well folks, there you have it, the top 20 must-visit places in the good old US of A. From the bright lights of New York City to the rugged beauty of Denali, this country has something for everyone. It's enough to make a guy want to pack his bags, grab his trusty sidekick Guillermo, and hit the open road. So, which one of these amazing destinations is on your bucket list? Have you already visited any and had experiences that would make even a seasoned talk show host like myself speechless? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible travel inspiration. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and I'll see you on the road.